Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaurari Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol हरिनाम संकीर्तन की प्रभुपाद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायामुदीरये अष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. So we'll recite this verse. So a little difficult to recite, but still we'll try. Madhvacharya recited fifth canto prose also. So at least we'll try to recite this verse. Assa अस्य विस्कर्तु कमं कलिमल कलुषे स्मृह ज्ञान मार्गम वंद्यम चंद्रेन्द्रौद्र द्युमनि पवनि वयोन यजयत इर्हिदया माध्वाख्यम मंत्र सिद्धम किमता कित्वतो मरुतस्यवतरम पतरं परमेष्ठं पद्ममप विपदा पप्तुरपन्न पुंसम्. Some do you like to recite? Yes. Maybe one or two devotees. Try. Okay, then we'll just read the meaning. Maybe you can repeat meaning after me. It is obvious that I am incompetent in respect of glorifying Vayudev. Vayudev, who reaches the status of four-faced Brahma, who fears no dangers, who has taken the avatar of Madhva on this earth, specifically to enlighten men that had become clouded by the poisonous philosophies of Kali Yuga. Vayu is worshipped by Chandra, Indra, Rudra, Surya, Garuna, and other devas. He gives them shelter when they take refuge of him. His glories are celebrated in the Vedic mantras. Srila Madhvacharya ki we'll just Sharda Mangalasana. Om Gyanti Mirandasya Gyananjana Salakya Chakchurulmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Sapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Rupam Sagar Jatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Sha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshraya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunvadi Pasat Desatarane वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरचसे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते। कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Maybe today I can speak in English. So today is very auspicious day of disappearance of Madhvacharya. Now certainly in this world, disappearance day is not very much celebrated, but in spiritual circles, disappearance day is also celebrated. And why it is celebrated? Because by the time some great Vaishnava or Acharya disappears from this world, we have his teachings, we have his example, and we have lot of guidance which he has given throughout the whole life. So certainly one reason why devotees are happy is because devotees rejoin uh, Krishna in their pastimes. And the other reason is that we know more about a devotee when he disappears more than when he appears. Like when Acharya appears in this world, we may not know about him at that time. But when he disappears, by that time already we know the glories of that Acharya because he had done so many activities for the whole life. Like when Prabhupada appeared, not many people celebrated. But when disappeared, so many disciples were there. So that's why uh, Acharya's appearance and disappearance both are very important for the devotees. So we celebrate the disappearance also. So this Madhvacharya, so we'll, uh, if you go past the history in the times of Mahabharata, during Mahabharata, so we know a past time when Pandavas were in exile. So at that time, when they were going towards Himalayas, so suddenly in Alaknanda, which is one of the rivers which joins Ganga and becomes Ganga. So there Draupadi saw as 1,000 petal lotus, Sastra Kamal, coming down the current of the river. And she desired the lotus. And she knew whom to speak for what. Because if she would have spoken to Yudhishthira Maharaj would have said, now we should be satisfied. Santushto. Santushto yari varitita. So you should be satisfied. So she spoke to Bhima. So as soon as Bhima heard, immediately he went and he brought this lotus. Then Draupadi said, I want one more lotus. So then Bhima, he was going towards Kailas Mansarovar, where this lotus is found. So while he was moving towards that direction, on the way he saw one monkey who was like stopping, or his tail was there on the way, across the way. So Bhim told to this monkey that keep your tail aside, Because in general, in Vedic culture, we know that Paramatma is there in the heart of all the living entities. So the Vedic culture is that we don't step over the any living entity. So that is Vedic culture. What to say of stepping over devotees? We don't step over any living entity. So he requested this monkey to remove the tail, and monkey said that I am too old to remove the tail. I am too tired. So you only remove the tail. So Bhim said, why are you telling me to remove the tail? It is your job to remove the tail. So remove the tail. So he said, I'm too tired to remove the tail. I can't remove the tail. So then Bhim said that you don't know who am I. I am the great Bhima, the son of Vayu. So he said, if you're so great, the monkey said, then why don't you remove the tail? You have so much of strength. I don't have any strength to remove the tail. So then Bhim only tried to remove the tail, but he was not able to even move the tail. What to say of remove the tail? Immediately Bhim understood that this monkey is not ordinary. He is my elder brother, Hanuman. So that time they had a conversation, and uh, Hanuman started asking whereabouts. So then Bhima said that these Kauravas have been harassing us. So Hanuman said that I have killed Rakshasas of Satyuga. Before them, these Rakshasas of Dwapar Yuga are like insects. If you tell me immediately, I'll jump to Hastinapur, catch hold of all these 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, bring here and kill in front of you. Bhima said, no, 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 I have taken the vow to kill all of them, so please don't kill them. But you can do one service, that you can ride on the chariot of Arjuna, and you speak very loudly, like scream, and that will instill the fear in the hearts of Kaurava army. And Bhima agreed. And then Bhima said that we two brothers should appear again in Kali Yuga to defeat all the nonsense philosophies which would appear in Kali Yuga. And then we, these two brothers, along with Ans of Vayudev, comes as Madhvacharya. Sri Madhvacharya ki. So the Puranic history behind the appearance of Madhvacharya. So he was born in a Brahman family in Karnataka. So dates are like okay, okay. So this is why our acharyas or some of our devotees, we can say that he was born in 1238 AD in a Brahman family in Karnataka state, and his father's name was Naddan Tilaya, and mother's name was Vedavati. So they were Vaishnavites and were following the Brahman traditions. She appeared in a place called Pajaka Kshetra. Pachakali practically means digestion. So when we went there, devotees was telling that no, anybody has indigestion, you pray here, you will get good digestion. And all devotees are happy. Most of the ISKCON devotees have indigestion. So Pajak Kshetra. So he appeared there. And actually he has a lot of pastimes, unlimited pastimes. But we'll discuss few of the pastimes. So when he was very small, once parents went out for some work. And sister of Madhvacharya, she was taking care of Madhvacharya, this small baby. Earlier his name was Vasudev. Vasudev. So he was taking care of this child Vasudev. So she was taking care of him, but suddenly the child started crying because child was very hungry. And sister didn't knew what to do. There was no food in the home. So she took some cow food, like we had dry linseed oil cakes, from which we take out the oil. That is generally fed to the cows. She didn't know she fed that only. And Madhvacharya took everything which was supposed to be eaten by cows. that small baby. So that's the meaning of Pajaka Chitra. He could digest everything. And when the parents came back, they were like shocked. So they were saying, what you have done? No, you have fed such a thing which is supposed to be eaten by cows. And nothing happened to the child. Child was like smiling. And being an incarnation of Vayu, he was so powerful that in childhood itself, he would like fly for different distances in one jump. So here and there at different places. So from childhood, he was like very powerful. When he was just, some people say 5, some people say 7 years old. So at that time, he went to the Gurukula of his guru, the local guru there, and he would recite those verses which Guru would say. He already memorized them just by hearing them, Srutidhara. Apart from that, he would sometimes recite certain verses which even Guru didn't know. So then Guru said that you are very proud and you can recite any verse. Why don't you recite these verses of 5th canto, Bhagavatam, which are actually in prose form? But Madhvacharya could even recite those verses in a poetic form. Like we were not able to recite this verse, very difficult. But he was able to recite even the 5th canto verses, Madhvacharya. So when he was very small, so then just when he was 7 years old, he decided to take sannyas. So then father came in and bowed in front of Madhvacharya that don't take sannyas, don't take sannyas. Like all the parents do. So then this little boy Vasudev, that time his name was Vasudev. And later on he also accepted Guru. So, okay. So Guru's name was Achyut Priksha. So he accepted Guru and under him he was about to take sannyas. So that time father said that don't take sannyas. And he paid obeisances. So he said that the very reason you have paid obeisances means you have accepted me as a sannyasi. Because this is the only condition in which father would pay obeisances to the son. And then father started begging that I don't have any other son. You are my only son. So then he said, okay, fine. In that case, as soon as you get a son, then you have to allow me to take sannyas. So father said, yes, yes. If I get another son, you can take sannyas, no problem. At least that was the only remedy at that moment. Because parents many times, they come with different reasons. They think, let us postpone the things. Like one of the brahmacharis, he joined. So his mother told that, no, I've spent so much money on your education. You have to give me at least 1 crore. And that dude said, yes, I'll take 1 crore and I'll throw on your face. Then I'll join. But then gone after that. Whole life went in earning 1 crore. So the point is, parents sometimes trick. So then he went like that. During that time only or just before that, what happened is his father had taken some loan. And generally Brahmanas, because they don't earn, so many times they get into debt. They have that trouble. Because Brahmanas depend on the charity. They don't work, they don't get salary as such. So his father was not able to pay the loan. And that is why this man was like again and again harassing his father for paying the loan. So one day when his father was out, this man came and he was like making big sound. So then this little child Madhva, which is Vasudeva at that time. So he was saying that, no, why are you shouting so much? So he said that your father has not been paying loans in such a long time and he took money from me. So he took some tamarind seeds and he gave in his hand. He told, this is the loan. And this fellow saying, tamarind seeds? So then he said that, hold them. So he held these tamarind seeds and opened the hand. They turned into gold coins. And this fellow went very happily. He told, I got much more than my interest also. So that is one pastime which happened. There are many other pastimes which happened in this house. Some demons where they are returned into different vessels. There are different pastimes. So, so that was his childhood. And after that, his father got, he got another brother, father got another son. And immediately at that time, he left for taking sannyas. During that same time, there was one big snake which was staying in a nearby hill. So little boy Vasudev, he delivered that snake in that same place. So that pastime, we'll just go. We'll not go in detail of pastimes. Quickly, we'll go through. So that pastime also happened there. And then he took sannyas. And after taking sannyas, this was just, he was a teenager at that time. So then he started studying from his guru. So according to some legends, they say that he was there in Gujarat, in the area of Gujarat. His guru was there in the area of Gujarat. But then he was not very satisfied by the explanations of the guru. And because of that reason, he want to expound some proper philosophy through Vedas. So his guru blessed him that, okay, you write some uh, tika, some commentaries. And then Madhvacharya, he started writing this commentaries and he became very famous. So actually he was the one who was defeating Sankaracharya's philosophy. So Bhakti Charu Maharaj in one of the classes, I had long before, maybe in 2006 or 7, that time. So he tells that how different acharyas have contributed in our current philosophy subsequently. So when Vedas were misused and people were performing animal sacrifices in the name of Vedas, so a lot of animal sacrifices are there. You can still find that culture in Bali. So Bali still has two religions, Islam and Brahmanism. So one of the islands. And some Brahmanism stayed there because this was the only island which was missed by the Islamic conquerors. Otherwise, other 26, 27 islands of Indonesia they had conquered. So there are still people do a lot of sacrifices, animal sacrifices. So when there are a lot of animal sacrifices were going on in the name of Vedas, so that time Lord himself appeared as a Saktavesh avatar of Lord Buddha. So the immediate, because he felt it like an emergency, he told reject the Vedas, reject the Vedic scriptures. So these Buddhists they reject the Vedas, and whenever he was asked any question about God, he was silent. He didn't speak anything. So Prabhupada said that he cheated them. So he said, don't follow Vedas, don't follow God, and he himself was God. So he told, follow me. So unknowingly they were following God. But we certainly don't accept his philosophy. And he propounded his philosophy of Sunyavad. That ultimately, when one gets liberation, then one merges into nothing. Or nothing should be visible. So that's why Buddhist monks in China, they say that, how do you know that somebody has merged into nothing? He has become nothing. So there's a rainbow found. Rainbow. So they said this is the indication. So I heard this from Chinese devotees. So, but that was not enough because if people don't follow Vedic scriptures, so those who don't follow Vedas, according to Vedic scripture, they are called atheists. Atheists. So they're atheists. So then they had to be brought in line. So Sankaracharya propounded similar philosophy so that people can trust the Vedas. So he said that Mayavadasa Sastram Prachannam Bodham Uchite. So he discovered Buddhism. He propounded, discovered Buddhism. So he said it's not nothing, it is one. Everything is one. So it is almost similar philosophy. It's like you become one with God. That means here also you lose your existence in one sense, like in Buddhism only. So he said that same thing is given in the Vedas also. So this philosophy was very appealing to the people, and that is how Shankaracharya propounded his philosophy, Advaitavad. Later on, after that, uh, we find Ramanujacharya comes. So certain Acharya certainly came even before Shankaracharya also. They gave Vaishnava commentaries. So Ramanujacharya said that he said that okay, that's it's like we are non-different from God, but still some difference is there. Like there is no difference between the waves in the ocean and the ocean. Still, waves are different from the ocean. We find certain differences. So that is how Ramanujacharya he explained his philosophy. And slowly the philosophy was evolving through Vishnu Swami and Nimbarkacharya. But then Madhvacharya, he said, why are you saying that no, some difference, some difference? Be very clear. No, there's a clear difference. So he said this Dvaitvad. Jiva and uh, Lord are never same. Jiva is always eternal servant of the Lord. That's how Madhvacharya. And later on, Mahaprabhu reconciled everything and spoke this philosophy of Achintya Bheda Ved Tattva. And Madhvacharya was such a expert Sanskrit scholar because there are verses in Vedas which talk about non-difference between the living entity and the Supreme Lord. And there are verses which talk about difference between the living entity and the Supreme Lord. So like Shankaracharya did opposite. The verses which spoke about difference between living entity and the Supreme Lord, Shankaracharya used Sanskrit to mold them as if there is no difference. Madhvacharya did opposite. Wherever there was like seemingly non-difference, he would use his Sanskrit to show there is a difference. So that is how Madhvacharya he uh, he spoke this philosophy of Dvaitvad, the Dvait school. So what I will do is I'll speak some 9 points. Uh, so this is from Prameya Ratnavali by Baldev Vidyabhushan. So he has summarized 9 principles which are common both to Chaitanya's teachings and Madhvacharya's teaching. So 9 points which are similar. So this is like something which our Guru Parampara also speaks, Baldev Vidyabhushan. So what are these 9 teachings? Bhagavan Sri Krishna alone is the supreme absolute truth, one without a second. So Krishna is alone supreme absolute truth. So Gaudiya Vaishnavas and Madhvacharya, no difference in that. Second is Jai Sri Shinitaya Gaurang Ki. Second one is he is the object of knowledge in all the Vedas. Who? Krishna. Vedescha sarver ahame vidyo. So the object of all knowledge is Krishna alone. Third is universe is also satya. It is also real. So this universe is also real. It's not mithya. Because the philosophy of being mithya doesn't make any sense, both practically and even theoretically. Because Krishna is called Satya. Satyavritam, What was that? Satyavrtam, Satyaparam ti Satyam, Satyasya yonim nihitam cha Satya. Satya, what was? No, 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 no. This is different. Satyaparam ti Satyam, Satyasya yonim nihitam cha Satya. Satyasya Satyam Rita Satya Netram Satyatmikam Tvam Saranam Prapanna. So this is a verse spoken by in Garbhastuti. Demigod speak to Krishna when he was in the womb of his mother. So there Krishna is called Satya. And when we say Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, that everything emanates from the Supreme Lord is complete in itself. So something which comes from Satya has to be Satya only. It has to be truth. So this third principle which he establishes. So this world is temporary, but it is not illusory. This temporary world. The opposite of absolute truth for Mayavadis and Vaishnavas is opposite. It's different basically. The opposite of absolute truth. So this world is perverted reflection of the spiritual world. That truth is absolute truth. But according to Mayavadis, this world is absolute false. Jagat Mithya. For us, it is relative truth. Still, it is truth. It is Satya. And it is not practical also. The philosophy of being that everything is false. Like once, this we heard from Dayaram Prabhu. So once what happened is this Sankaracharya, he just defeated the Karma Kandi Brahmanas of Varanasi. And then now there is a big corridor there, Kasi Vishwanath corridor. In those days, especially, even just few years before the corridor was made, the lanes of Varanasi are very, very narrow. So through one of the lanes, Sankaracharya was going to take bath in Ganga. But when he was going to take bath, he saw from the other side one big elephant was coming. So he saw the elephant, he started like moving about and running away. So then there was one Brahmana who was peeping out from his house. So he said, Sankaram kim palayanti. Why is Sankara running away? So yesterday only you told Kunjar Mithya. This world is false. So then this elephant is also false. Why are you running away from the elephant? So Sankaracharya continued running and replied, Palayam api mithya. My running away is also illusory. So the whole point is that this philosophy is not like a practical philosophy which you can apply. So there's a third point. Fourth is the difference between Ishwar, God, Jiva, soul, and matter are real. So matter, Jiva, and controller of both is the Supreme Lord. So they all are real, none of them are mithya. Because according to Sankarites, this matter is anyway mithya. Ishwar also in one sense doesn't have any features as such. And Jiva practically loses existence after merging in the Supreme Lord. So that is how we have a different philosophy. Ishwar, Jiva and matter, they all are real. Fifth one is, Jiva souls are by nature the servants of the Supreme Lord Hari. Jiver Swarup Hoy, Krishna Nityadas. So this is philosophy common both to the Madhvacharya and Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Then there are two categories of Jivas. One is Mukta, another is Baddha. So one is liberated, another is illusioned. So these two categories of Jivas are there. So this is also common to our philosophy. Seventh point is liberation or moksha means attaining the lotus feet of Bhagavan Krishna. That is the actual liberation. Actual liberation is to attain lotus feet of Krishna. It is not merging. In other words, entering an eternal relationship of service to the Lord, Supreme Lord. That is actually moksha. Mukti hitva annata rupam sarupena vyavasthiti. So actual mukti is to be established in one's eternal relationship with Krishna. So that is seventh point, which is common. Eighth point, which is common, is pure devotion service to Krishna is the only way to attain this liberation. We can attain Krishna only by pure devotion service, no other way. Ninth one, which Baldev Vidyabhushan speaks, is that the truth may be known by pratyaksha, direct perception, anuman, inference or logic, sabda, spiritual sound or Vedic authority. So pratyaksha, anuman and sabda, these are the three ways of getting knowledge, gaining knowledge. So we don't rule out even pratyaksh and anuman completely. Although pratyaksh and anuman are not like absolute, but sabda ultimately has to be verified by pratyaksh and anuman to get a realization. Otherwise, what happens is, although the source itself doesn't have four defects, the receiver has four defects. So how do we confirm that what we have received is right or wrong? So we confirm it through pratyaksha and anuman. So when sabda is confirmed through pratyaksha and anuman, it turns into sakshatkar, realization. So these are three ways of getting knowledge. So although pratyaksha and anuman are not absolute, sabda is absolute, but it is verified through pratyaksha and anuman. So these are three ways of getting knowledge. So this is common among Madhvacharya, Sampada and all of us. So then Madhvacharya, as we know, so he wrote his commentaries and then he wanted to get them verified. So along with his disciples, so he was moving towards the northern direction from Karnataka. So in the way, there are a lot of pastimes which happened. One of the places he just walked over the water. Another place, what had happened is this disciples were going ahead and Madhvacharya was going behind. So the local king of that place was very cruel. So any visitors who would pass by, he would engage them to make a lake. And in those days, we didn't have JCB. We just take out and dug, and on everything comes out. So to dig a lake was a Herculean task. So Madhvacharya's, all the disciples were engaged in digging the lake. So they thought, now we will make arrangement for Gurudev, but they will make arrangement for the king. So then Madhvacharya came and he told them, the king, that no, why are you engaging these brahmanas in service? They are not supposed to do this work of just digging the lake. So he said that I don't believe in scriptures. What you are talking now, brahmanas would do this fellows would do that, that's how fellows would do that. I don't believe in all those things. So because Vedas don't work. Madhvacharya said, yes, they work. Yet you show me something, what works? So Madhvacharya took a seed of one tree and he started chanting mantras. Immediately in front of him, only one tree came out by seeing the mantras. So then he was convinced that Vedas work. So he relieved all the disciples. He was further moving along with his disciples, and on the way, one tiger came. Madhvacharya slapped the tiger. Tiger was gone, delivered. So in this way, he was moving towards the Himalayas. And then at a point of time, he told all the disciples that you wait here and let me go and show my commentaries to my Adi Guru, that is Vyasdev. That's why many times devotees have a doubt. Okay, in our Sampradaya, we have Krishna, Brahma, Narad Muni, Vyasdev. How Madhvacharya such a difference in age? Why such a year gap is there? Because Madhvacharya, although he had a guru, he directly went there. So he started moving. He told, I want to meet, show it to Vyasdev. So he told all the disciples to stay back here. So one of the disciples said, no, no, I want to go with you. I can't live without you. Because he was very attached to serving his guru. So Madhvacharya said, okay, follow me. And then Madhvacharya was like jumping from one hill to another hill. So that time he understood, I can't catch him. So he went there, and disciple was very tired by that time. So disciple, he kicked him, and disciple was on with the other disciples. They went down the hill, at the foot of the hill. And there he went and he showed the commentaries to Vyasdev. And Vyasdev confirmed that all these commentaries are totally perfect. So he gave them to Vyasdev for editing. And then he came back and he started then propagating this Dvaita philosophy all over India. And so he defeated a lot of Sankarites, Jains, Buddhists. So he defeated them thoroughly. So he had such a preaching spirit that even today, if somebody wants to take sannyas in Madhva Sampradaya, he has to go in a certain area around Pajka Kshetra and declare loudly. If anybody says that Jiva and God is one, anybody who doesn't comply with the philosophy of Madhvacharya, come for debate, we will defeat you. So that culture is there. So Madhvacharya had that uh, spirit of defeating Mayavad philosophy. So Lord Chaitanya also carried that mood of defeating the Advaitvads of Shankaracharya. Rather, in many of the commentaries, he speaks with very openly, like Isopanishad, not just one commentary, most of the commentaries. In Isopanishad, one of the verses, so different, uh, we don't have time, we can't discuss much, but there, different acharyas have given different translations. And how Madhvacharya translates that verse as Vidyams, Avidyams, Cheva, those verses are there. So that he translates that verse as that the true devotee of Vishnu is one who fixes his intelligence on Vishnu to get knowledge, true knowledge, and who also defeats the false knowledge of Mayavad philosophy. Only such a person can be called a devotee of Vishnu. So those who say that those who promote false philosophy are in darkness, but those who promote only true philosophy are in deeper darkness. Real devotees of Vishnu is one who establishes the right philosophy at the same time defeats the wrong philosophy. Such a person can be called devotee of Vishnu, otherwise he can't be called a Vaishnava. So that's like strong punch. He quotes, I think, from Kurma Purana as far as I remember. So he quotes from there. So that was the spirit of Madhvacharya. That if you are a devotee of Vishnu, then you will defeat all the false philosophies. So this is one of the contributions, great contribution of Madhvacharya. And another great contribution is establishing of deity worship standards, high standards of deity worship. So while he was going through this area of Kutch in Gujarat, Hussain side, some devotees say Dwarka side. So some place from there. So that time he saw one sailor, his ship was caught in a storm. So he saw that some sadhus are moving nearby. So he started seeking for help from way of no, please no, help us. Sadhus can do miracles. Actually, sadhus, they show miracle, then they become very popular. Normal sadhus, people don't value so much. And nowadays, always one sadhu is there, is like, he's doing miracles, he has become so popular. Practically all televisions are showing him. So of course, he's a devotee of Hanumanji. He's not claiming to be God. He's claiming to be servant of Lord Ram. So then this Madhvacharya, so he just waved his uttari and the storm stopped. So this immediately this particular sailor came and he told that you have saved my life. My whole life, my whole wealth belongs to you. You tell me what you want. So he told, I don't want anything. I just want to get Gopi Chandan, which you have used for balancing your sip. Because generally people would put big loads on the basement of the ship to keep it balanced. Prabhuji knows, merchant navy person. So he kept this. So he talked. So anyway, this person didn't know this is Gopi Chandan, although he took it from Gopi Jalab. He thought it is ordinary mud only. So Madhvacharya then he broke it, and from there came the deity of Udupi Krishna, that deity which Rukmani had worshipped, because she wanted to take the darshan of Bal Gopal Krishna. So she heard about glories of Krishna when he performed his pastimes in Vrindavan. Especially childhood pastimes of Krishna are very sweet. So she wanted to worship that form. Vasudev Devaki also didn't get that opportunity. So they also wanted to worship this form of Krishna in Vrindavan. So then this devotee deity became the deity of Guru Vayur. Guru Vayur, same deity is there, which is worshipped by Vasudev Devaki. So this particular, so he established deity worship and very high deity standards, deity worship standards. So they have 8 mathas, as far as I remember. 8 mathas are there, established by Madhvacharya. And one by one, they get a turn to worship this deity. Something like 1.5 years, 2 years. 2 years. So 2 years they worship the deity. So very high deity standard. So that is also great contribution of Madhvacharya. And in this way, while lecturing on Tattri Upanishad, so that time he was feeling a great longing for meeting his spiritual master Vyasdev. So devotees like showered flowers upon him. And when they removed the flowers, Madhvacharya's only Uttari was there, nothing else was there. So in one sense, if we say he had not disappeared, he had disappeared from our vision today. Anyway, Acharyas, they disappear in the sense they take samadhi. But Madhvacharya may still be there with Vyasdev and discussing philosophy with him. So in that sense, it's not a disappearance day. It disappeared day for all of us. So these were great contributions. And past time there are no end. So he was known for his strength, for his singing, and for his knowledge and preaching. So I'll just end, although it's overtime. Like sometimes he would have a strange type of debates. So he wanted to recite some verses which are very difficult to recite in a poetic way. And he challenged the king there that I will recite these verses. If you want, you can stop me. So then king sent all the wrestlers to stop him from reciting these verses. So they were practically squeezing the throat of Madhvacharya. And still Madhvacharya was like singing those verses. So that he was displaying his strength also. Sometimes he would wrestle with his disciples. Now guru and disciple wrestling is like, but then he will say, don't worry, no, I'm different type of guru. Powerful guru. So single-handedly he would defeat all his disciples who were very young and powerful. So he was known for his strength, for his singing, as well as for his knowledge. And he established all the different mutt who are still continuing the worship of Udupi Krishna and also promoting this Westlaw philosophy of death. And we belong to the same sampradaya. So we can pray to Madhvacharya for getting that stability in philosophy and not being swept away by other subsidiary philosophies. Shri Madhvacharya ki, Shri Bhopad ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Shri Bhopad ki.